So are we ready?
This is Jay.
This is A,
And this is Moxicated.
where we drop the booze and walk through the reality of life alcohol-free.
So grab your favorite mock, get ready to laugh, and let's get Moxicated.
Hello. Welcome back.
I'm so happy to be here.
Me too.
It's so wonderful, hot, summery day.
Yes. Summer is happening so fast, in my opinion.
Why does it happen every year, dude? I literally printed out calendars and I had to throw 2 of them away because they were blank for May, June, and July. And to fill them out to create a schedule. I probably talked about it on the podcast.
We did talk about our schedules that we were going to do every day.
I didn't. I'm like, oh, I still have July. I can still figure it out.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, you have 2 weeks.
Well, there's 3, but the last week we're going to Disneyland.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's going to be so great.
But this week.
This week is a mental freak out.
What's happening? Is it like a chill week for you? No
Oh,
plans? Zero plans?
Zero plans. My dad's just getting married again. And has only invited 200 people. And half of them are flying in on Wednesday. So
200 people is
200,
just a
minimal.
celebration. Minimal, yeah.
Minimal.
Well, and honestly, for your dad, that probably is
It
minimal.
is. Yeah, there was a lot of cuts made.
Sorry to those, but he
Yeah.
literally knows that many people. That 200 is like small.
Yeah, and for some reason, I am the one that
Are you the wedding planner?
basically.
You're like Jennifer Lopez.
And actually, okay, so I was thinking about this. I'm not the wedding planner. I am the outside of the wedding planner. Because everyone's going to be here 3 days before, and they're all our family members that haven't been here in a couple
You're
of
like
years.
the family coordinator.
Yeah, I am like the family coordinator and meal planner and prepper and everything but the wedding, which is really
That's
nice
taken care
because
of.
thank God his fiance is really organized in that way. But it's a lot. It's
a lot.
It's a
for
lot.
you to do. I don't even know that many people, let alone have that many people in my family. That I have to be just responsible for.
I think actually like 52 people flying in on Wednesday.
Again, that's outside. That's like 10 times the people I know.
Some are actually driving. They're leaving in like the middle of the night.
Oh,
And,
wow.
Yeah, just...
What a celebration.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be really fun. It's just like the build up
You've got
to
a
it.
lot.
Yes. What about you? What you got going on this weekend?
My week's actually going to be chiller, but still nerve-wracking because I'm going to Santa Barbara. I'll be there while your dad is getting married.
Yeah.
I'll think good thoughts at the sea for their marriage.
Yes.
But for my sound healing graduation.
Oh, I wish I could be there. Sorry, I'll be doing nothing.
Yeah, you're just going to be looking
be
at
chilling.
the clouds in the sky. But yeah, it's actually my first solo trip in
Really?
probably since why can't I do math?
Since you went to that weird ladies conference.
No, cycle. I went to some cycle bar
cycle
stuff.
bar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was like 2022.
Oh.
2020. So it's been 3 years, and that was in a part of California. And I drove to, I think I've talked about it, I drove to Malibu by myself, and I was like terrified. Yes. So I'm just trying not to be terrified and be proud of myself, and know that I have everything taken care of. I think I rely a lot on other people when I travel too, just because with ADHD, my brain is a little sporadic. And when I just went on my trip with my oldest son last week, I was like, well, this is a lot harder with 2 people with a similar brain. I'm like, did I forget this? He's like, what's that? I've never seen that before. I'm like, oh God, this is not but going by myself, so I'm a little bit nervous. And then all of the fam will be back here for 2 days, but I get to go be by the ocean and go meet these wonderful people that I have just seen over a computer screen for a while. So, and I'll come back a full-blown sound bowl healer to be able to help heal anything.
Yeah, I can't wait. I got a lot of things I need you to heal.
Pretty much a doctor.
Yeah, pretty much.
The other day, something came out about how they're using sound to heal tumors now.
Ooh.
Like, that's FDA approved in the
Wow.
hospitals. And Philip, that's what he said. He was like, so you're pretty much a doctor now. And I told him I would go by Dr. Cantrell because he did not help me get this doctorate's degree. You know, because a lot of the stuff that we do that's hard, we do by ourselves
Yes, the invisible side of it all.
mentally
Yes.
with no help.
No.
We carry it.
All
What's
alone.
it called? What's it called, Alexandra?
It's our mental load.
the mental load, you guys. It's so much.
Oh, I
I'm
feel
heavy.
like I know. I feel like A, as a woman, B, as a mother, C, as a sober mother, woman, and then just like,
Sometimes as a wife.
yeah, sometimes as a lot as a wife. Yeah, and I know that men experience this too, just differently. I think there's different kinds of mental loads.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I know, like, when I'm worried about my kind of mental load, I know Chris is worried about his mental load, like, more like mechanic of my car. Like,
Yes.
we need to, you know, like, thinking about, oh, okay, those tires are coming up in a couple months, you know, like, different things like
Different
that
things.
it's not even on my radar.
But as women, I feel like all these different roles that you go in kind of like expect it of you. And like you said, you named off of them. And I'm even thinking like eldest daughters or even the daughters in the family that kind of run stuff, because as a younger daughter, it's not always the oldest. Like, I feel like sometimes, you know, like the mental load of like what you're doing
Yes.
this weekend, like who
Planning
needs to
every
be where,
meal.
like,
Yes.
okay, my family from this side's coming into town and I need to take care of them this way, because, you know, that's just kind of the role that we fall into based on our personalities, our family dynamics, or whatever it may be, and it's a lot.
It is.
Do you want to know the definition?
Yes, please.
Mental load, also known as mental labor, refers to the invisible cognitive and emotional effort required to manage a household, family, or any other responsibilities. It's the work of planning, organizing, anticipating needs, and ensuring things get done, often behind the scenes and unnoticed.
Yes. It's very heavy, the mental load. And I think the heaviest part is it goes unseen and unappreciated
Yeah.
when it's so much.
Yes.
And it's like, oh.
Well, I'm like thinking of like gains, you know, like that you make, because I'm thinking of a load and how heavy it is. So if you were like working out in the gym and exercising all those other muscles as much as you were exercising your brain, like people would notice.
Yeah.
They would be like, oh my gosh, look how big those muscles are. She must be working them all the time. But it's literally the one, like, because it's all inside, all our brain. Nobody can see, nobody can tell, nobody comments on it. If they do, it's usually other people that like see the struggle or have been there. But you know, that's tough too. And I think it shows up in a lot of places in our lives.
Yeah, I think the first place to start is like the household mental load.
Yes.
Which is a lot.
Mwah.
And even sometimes like Chris will see like the frantic in me.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Do you really want to know?" You know, and then he's like, "Yeah, give it to me." And I just like word vomit literally everything
that you're thinking at that moment.
And that's from meal planning to then shopping for that meal planning, scheduling and appointments, household maintenance, like laundry, dishes, cleaning, all of that. Then the finances. Not all women do the finances, but a lot of us do. We pay the bills. We are the physical ones that like take care of all of it.
Yeah.
Maintaining your friendships, relationships. Oh my God, I haven't talked to my mom in 4 days. Wonder how she's
gosh.
doing. Oh my gosh, I haven't been to my
Yes.
grandparents in 2 weeks. You know,
Yes.
like literally I get put on autopilot and then I'm like, it's been 3 weeks and I haven't checked in on this person. I haven't done this. Important dates, anniversaries, birthdays, like
And all the stuff that goes with it. Getting the
Graduations.
gifts, getting the cards,
Yes.
getting the decorations. Are there parties? Who does what? When is that happening?
all while anticipating the needs in those situations. Like, okay, my kids are not going to like the dinner that's going to be served at this party. So I need to also bring a dinner for this. I need to do
Yes.
this and this and this and this.
Well, and
It's exhausting talking about it.
you just reminded me of Selena's dad. It's exhausting.
I look like him too.
Sorry, you look like a goddess today. Do you know who looks exactly like Selena's dad? And you're never going to be able to unsee it.
Who?
My husband.
Oh my God.
Not the real Selena's dad, Edward James Olmos playing Selena's dad. Like, when he's older, they're going to be twins.
Yeah. And you're like Selena. Just
I'm like, does that make him marry his daughter? No. And I'll be the mom too. I'll teach Kyla how to be a superstar.
yeah.
Anyways,
sure
that
is.
was a
Sorry.
tangent. But seriously though, I think it's crazy because you mentioned all of those tasks, right? And then all the things that go with the tasks, but then bringing in the emotional side. And we all have, different dynamics and aspects in our family that make our families unique, our kids unique and individual. And all of my kids have different type of temperaments and can go from like happy to sad or screaming or whatever. And anticipating that, what you're going to do for your children, how you're going to feel like from the outside perspective, who's looking at you, who's judging you, sometimes within your own family, you have
Yes.
judgments on how you should be raising or what happens in those moments. So having that all, and I think the one part that you didn't touch on, and I don't even know if we touched on going over this, that the mental load almost like loops around either trying to avoid or born out of is shame.
Yes. Oh my God.
It's coming from like, oh my God, I have to remember this birthday. And then what happens when you don't remember that birthday? You literally feel like the worst person in the world.
Yes.
Or, forgetting something from the grocery store or missing an appointment or the list can get bigger and bigger. The more responsibilities you have, the more members of your household you have, and the more responsibilities those members of the household, like you're managing it all. And if you feel like if one of those things falls, like you're the worst person in the world, but it's like, look at all the things you're juggling at once.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane.
Even a professional juggler drops every now and then. You didn't write that one.
I juggled in front of our whole high school.
When
I
you were
didn't-
hypnotized.
And no, not that time. That's for another day.
Okay.
No, when I was trying out for Senate, I was a clown.
Oh, yes. No, now I remember.
And I really didn't, and I was even saying, I can juggle a lot of things at once. And I didn't know how to juggle. I literally just threw balls in the air.
That's what it's like, too.
Yeah.
You're expected to be a professional juggler, and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
I don't even know how to juggle. And I'm going to do this.
I can barely catch one ball. Please don't throw them all.
One.
I can't. Don't throw them all at me.
I'm not an athletic
I'm just going to turn
person.
my back. I'm just going to go into my ball and cry. Which I do sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. And then,
Oh.
honestly, on top of all of that, alcohol.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And I think too that like the thing, and as we get into the alcohol too, is like everyone's experience with mental load is similar but extremely different based on like the roles you have in your house. Like you mentioned, like some people do care about or manage the finances. Some people manage like the more maintenance of everything. Some people manage all of it. Like who's going to call, who's going to this. And yes, I have help, but it's, sometimes I have to direct my help. I have to be like the head manager that then goes to like my assistant manager. And even doing that is a lot instead of like having someone that kind of like balances both. And or if you're a single parent or maintaining a single household, the entirety of that does have to be on you.
Yeah.
And so I think one way that we learned to try and escape the mental load is drinking,
Yes, totally.
because your mind goes somewhere else.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, no, and you just brought up another point in my head is like when we finally let people help us and then it doesn't get executed correctly. That's like, I just tried so hard to not have this heavy mental load, but you just failed. And our life cannot fail. Like,
Yep.
if you don't call that for that appointment, we're not going to get that doctor's appointment for 3 months.
Yep.
You know, like things like that. And it's so hard to trust that things are going to get done the way that you want. And yes, that's a total control that we have to let go and
Yes.
trust that these people that we are giving an assistant manager role, that they are going to do these. But a lot of the time, they aren't.
And they're definitely not going to do it the way you want them to.
Yes.
Which reinforces your like almost need to be like, fine, I'll just do it all myself.
Yes.
And as much as this is like something that obviously needs work and healing and like control issues, like it is so common that like it has to be talked about. Almost every person that I've come in contact with has felt that.
Yes.
And felt that at some point in time.
Like, even people that aren't type A.
Yes.
Like, it's like, no, I can't have somebody do that because it's not going to be done correctly.
And I like it, or how this needs to be done, or in the order I imagined it, or whatever it may be. It's so vast and it's so different for every person. And so we're just like, let's shut the voices up.
Yeah. Shut them up, please. I wish I could.
I feel like even when I drink, they probably talked. I just don't remember what they said.
Yeah. Oh, I know when they drink when those voices are drinking.
They probably still are up there sometimes, you know. I don't know where they get the booze from.
Yeah.
Someone snuck it in.
It's a nail polish remover.
They hoarded it from 2017.
But no, I know when I drank, those voices were very dark, very negative, very mean. Like, oh, you're going to trust them to do it? No, you're not. You know, like just doubting everything that you were doing to almost where you do turn it off and you're like, I need to drink more because I can't hear these voices anymore.
Yep. And then the shame of drinking and then the shame of not doing the mental load, like, just manifest with each other. And I think that that's when you start to question your drinking and you're like, okay, well, what can I do? Like, I'm not going to quit drinking because that seems too hard. So I'm going to moderate. And you don't understand what you're doing to your brain when you're like, okay, I'm going to moderate.
I'm sweating. This is... If you're listening, do you have anxiety? Because I do. This talk is just making me sweat. Because even moderation, I know we've been talking about it a lot. I feel like it's forefront in both of our like lives lately, just for everything.
Yes.
But the mental load of moderately drinking feels so heavy for me. Like, even when I was writing things down, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is exhausting. It's the mental gymnastics that you're just like a cycle of trying to figure things out while trying to shut them up.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, it's so weird. As you were talking, I was visualizing it in like a weird way. And it's almost like, don't like quote me or put me on the record for this, but I would venture to say that like moderating the mental load that comes with moderating is probably more extreme, harder than drinking as much as you want or not drinking.
No, it's 100%. Like, okay, I'm just going to tell you right now some of the questions. Okay,
lay it on me.
The extra stress that you are giving yourself by trying to moderate. And also, before I even say this, I want to say something that... So I was in a meeting on Sunday, a Sober Mom Cafe meeting, and Katie C., if you're listening...
What's up, girl?
She... Oh my gosh, she was so wise, and it was funny because she was even like, I just had to run today, and it was like a meditation, and everything just came to me. And she's in early sobriety, and I was like, you are so wise. But so she said, it's interesting because moderation is something that everybody wants, but it is something that we cannot attain. Like, everybody wants to do that, but how often does it actually get executed that way?
The percentages would be so interesting on that to see, like, because you try to moderate in every different type of place in your life, you know, like, and it's so, that is so wise because it's like, where is it successful? And for some people, like, whatever percentage of people they can.
So what she said, she goes, the people that can moderate don't like alcohol.
Oh my God.
They don't want to, they don't like being drunk. They don't like numbing.
They were not there first.
Yeah.
They always came from a place of moderation. They always came from a place, not always, I hate to use always and never, but that seems to be more common amongst it. Yeah.
And she's like, I cannot moderate. Like, I want alcohol. I want the substance. I need
buzz,
the buzz,
the feeling, the taste,
and that
whatever,
one drink is never gonna get me there. You know, and so it was just. I even like applauded her after. I was like, "Hey, you are so wise. You're making me want to go on a run, and I hate running." But okay, so just needed to throw that in there. But so the dozens of decisions with moderation. I'm just going to read you these questions, and it's exhausting. Okay, so first off, should I drink tonight? Is it going to be special? Is it a special enough occasion to drink? Will I have just one? What should I drink? How many is moderating?
Yeah.
For someone that maybe drinks 10 drinks in an evening, what is moderating? Is it 2 or is it 5? Because that's less than a normal night. You know, how do you figure out what that number of moderation is for you?
The way you figure out what that number is by trying and guess what? Failing.
Yes.
Like, oh, I tried 4 last night. That didn't work because it led me to this, or I still feel like this, or I still feel like this. So then you're like, okay, let me try 3. Let me try 2. Let me try 1. Oh, this one I did okay. So let me try 2. It's like, I keep failing. So I keep trying new stuff.
Yeah. And it's just like we always say, your sobriety journey is specifically your own.
Yeah.
And it's like moderating is specifically you. It is not a one size fits all, one drink fits all. It's like, well, what's your baseline?
Yes.
You know? And so, okay, so back to this. So how many will I have? Will I have that amount? Will I be able to stop at that number?
Oof.
Should I cancel or reschedule my morning plans? Because
I decided to drink tonight.
yeah, because am I actually going to be able to moderate? When do I switch from drinking alcohol to another drink? Do I drink water in between the drinks, or do I drink a soda in between and feel like I'm still drinking? Do I deny another drink if someone's given me one? Or do I just accept it because they're being kind?
Buy you a drink.
Yeah, they're buying you a drink.
Duh.
Why would I turn that down if I'm just having a few? You know, and then do I respond to that person? No, I'm trying to moderate and open up the whole mental load of, hey, I'm moderating. Why are you moderating? Do you have a problem? You know? And so then you're getting into the emotional side of then your insecurities of not even being able to moderate.
Yeah.
And all of this, it's just such a mental gymnastics. Like, it's just feels so much easier just to not have any.
Yeah. Or just, forget and go down a different road. And I think that that's what so many people, if you're like me and you were in the moderating phase of that mental gymnastics, do, because like I would say, and that was something else I was going to say when you're reading that. There's a lot of times that people have answers to every single question before they go out. And then what did you describe? Like sober situations. Yeah. Someone comes up and gives you a drink and you might know what you want to do in that situation, but what are you actually going to do in that situation?
And need.
Yes. And okay, I'm planning to do this, this, and this, but what's actually going to happen? And that's kind of how I was, is that summer that we went to the concert thing, I would tell Philip, I'm only going to have this many drinks and I'm only going to have this many before the show and 1 at the show. I want to remember the show, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Once I got to that 3rd drink at the show, it was over. My wants and needs changed.
Yes.
And I have no control over who that person is and what decisions she made 3 drinks in. That's moderating for some people.
Yeah.
3 drinks in. That one night, the last night that I drank, I had 3 beers before I made the decision to not go home and to go to Tractor instead. You make these decisions, you make these rules, and unless you are someone who already has an okay, stable relationship with alcohol, once you start drinking, all of this mental load, mental gymnastics, should I not, it kind of goes out the window.
Yes. Because
and then you have to do it all over again.
Yes. And that was going to be the last thing I said, is the bargaining with yourself, the rule making with yourself. Who is actually going to hold yourself accountable when you're the one making these answers in your head? Yeah. After you have a couple drinks, those are gone. Your inhibitions are gone. Everything you want is gone because you're just drunk.
And even if you, because you're just drunk, and even if you have someone like in those moments, I would tell Philip, an accountability partner. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is what I'm gonna do. And then what would I do? I would sneak it. Yeah. I'm going to the bathroom again. I'm like,
This
give me
is the
another
same beer, ice cold.
give me another fireball shot. I know, and he knows I hold my beers too, so it's like somehow still cold. I'm like, I don't know how. Yeah, you lie, you deceive, and then you put that accountability partner in a place of like, how do I confront this? Do I confront this now when they're drunk? Do I confront this the next day? Because again, like, Philip wasn't going to be like, oh, that's not who he is. He kind of just let me do my thing. And then, you know, I had to learn the lessons on my own. And it's, even when you do all of these things to put yourself in place, if you come from a background of abusing alcohol, it's going to be very, very hard once you get that second, third drink to remember and hold those boundaries. Yeah. You have to be really freaking strong as heck to be able to hold those boundaries.
No, yeah. I don't think you could have said it better, because I was going to say somebody to hold you accountable, and it's like, let's just lie and cheat them too. Yeah. You know, it's like
sneak and
games and talk them into it. We're manipulators.
Yeah, and that's the person you want to be, like someone who sneaks, someone who lies to like your loved one, someone who, when you are in your right state of mind, you are like, please help me, and then you're drunk and now you're lying to that person and sneaking. It's just like you become this person that you don't want to be, no matter how many rolls you make. And that's my soapbox experience with moderation. And I think it's crazy too. Sorry, I wanted to say this one last thing before we move on. All of those questions, those are all our own voices in our head.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're somebody that looks to the internet for inspiration, for, you know, people that are living life and in a way that maybe you want to live life, there are a lot more voices that come in that say stuff like that. You can do it. Just try this. This is how I do it. Let me show you how it works for me. This is what, you know, worked when I was, you know, trying moderation. And I think that that's just adding so many more chatter to the mental load you're already carrying. Yes. And back to what we say is like, it's all different. Like, just because that's what really worked for that person and you look up to that person, you don't know the times that they haven't maintained a good relationship with alcohol. You don't know how bad their hangovers are. Yeah. You don't know, you know, what their relationship was like with alcohol prior, their family history, their DNA history. Are they predisposed to being an addict? Like, none of this is known or talked about, but yet we're going to look to them and be like, that person can do it, so I can do it. No, you're your own person. Yeah. And you're finding out through all of these questions and attempts what you're capable of. So listen.
And two, sorry, we're just on our soapboxes. In early sobriety too, because, well, if you're still moderating or trying to, this is early sobriety for you. You're already vulnerable, insecure, already low, needing...
Just questioning, going through a transformation.
Yes, and it's like, how are you supposed to trust your brain who's been talking opposite, you know, or like questioning what you're doing and all of that? How... Yeah, it's just, it seems so hard. So hard.
It is. It is so hard, and it's just like... It's so worth it to just get rid of it. And I think that a lot of people think like sobriety is so much harder. I could never do that. It's stuff that you hear all the time. And it's like, you are sitting there and doing the hardest thing that I've ever done in my alcohol journey is trying to moderate it and failing over and over again. You are already a warrior. And like, this is not going to be a walk in the frickin' park. Of course, there's a lot of stuff that comes with sobriety too, but you are actually taking like a much easier path when you choose sobriety from moderation. And that's just something that I think our brains have such a hard time clicking. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that sobriety comes without a mental load.
Yeah, because staying sober is a huge mental load as well. Big parts of those challenges are, you know, triggers, navigating everyday life without a substance that you leaned on for everything, you know, that made you fun, that made you more outgoing, made you an extrovert when you're an introvert, you know. It's like, now you really do have to sit with it
and show up as authentic as possible. And that's like, that's what where the mental load comes from, because you're sifting through all the things that you've been taught, that you've heard, that you've experienced, and trying to figure out what is authentic to me. Who am I? Who am I in this situation? Who am I in this situation? How am I going to show up in this situation? How are the people around me going to react to who I am now? And that's what the mental load is. And and where it comes from. And it's like, oh my God, is that so much worth it? Like, if you're going to carry any type of load, like, because that mental load is ever changing and you're not carrying it forever. Like, you're not always going to sit and think about, what am I going to do when someone offers me a drink?
Yeah.
You're not going to think about that forever.
No.
And it's not going to be a failure like the moderation could have been. It's going to be like, oh, I liked this. I tried this. This is what I'm going to do next time. And you're going to understand and you're going to know, but you are going to have to carry the mental load of these new tasks as they come along.
Yes, totally. And whether that's managing your triggers, your cravings, thinking of the risks of relapsing, like it's just a constant like mental load of your sobriety.
Well, and the cognitive tasks that go along with it are like, to me, is like our Mox toolbox. Like, do I have what I need? Am I going to drive myself? When am I going to leave? When am I going to come back? Do I have my accountability partner with me? Who's my safe space? Those are like, that's like the top of like your tasks, right? And then you move into the emotional aspect and it's like, how am I going to feel? What is it going to feel like to be in that position? What triggers are going to come, you know, when I smell that, when I do that? And then moving into like all the work you're doing behind the scenes that these people in these still drenched, you know, communities or ways of acting are like, don't understand. You know, and they don't understand how hard it is to think about, you know, the smell of a certain alcohol or this, you know, and you're doing all of that behind the scenes and still showing up in these spaces that are really hard. But with all of this mental load comes so much growth.
Yes, it really does. Let's talk about how to overcome this mental load. I'm feeling heavy.
Let's lift it up. It's okay. I went to training today. I'm feeling strong. I'll lift it off of all of us. Well,
I went to Pilates today and I'll be walking weird for a week. So she tried to kill me today.
That's amazing. I love that for you.
Yeah.
I did legs, but he was nice. A little bit.
No. She woke up with a vengeance. I even told her that. I was like, are you fighting with your man? What's happening? Because you just tried to kill me.
I feel like here comes another tangent, but when female fitness instructors are in like a fiery mood, it is like the hardest classes you can ever take.
Yeah. Well, and too, she makes everything look so easy. So she'll be like, okay, we're just going to do this really quick. And then you try it and you're like, okay, let's do that. Mental load. There you go.
You know what's easier than doing that?
Yes. Tell me, please.
Well, there's ways to reduce the mental load, whether it is in sobriety. Sobriety, your home life, if you are trying to moderate. We have some of our own, but this place, Simple Families, has 4 steps. We'll break them down with our own ideas. But step 1, visualize. Step 2, understand. Step 3, reduce. And step 4, maintain. So as we like go through what we do kind of to help reduce the mental load, we'll see what category they fall in.
Yes. So do you want me just to say my list of things?
Us.
Yes. Okay. So first thing I have is prioritize self-care, which I feel like some people hate self-care and I don't care.
If you hate self-care, then you hate yourself. Just kidding. That's a really big statement, but self-care is not frivolous. And I think that's why people think they hate it. Self-care is literally healthcare.
Yeah. Well, no. And I think that sometimes when people talk about self-care, they think you're like going to the spa. And I'm like, no. That's not just that's
telling my inner child that she's okay and calming her down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going on a walk. It's literally grounding yourself, putting your feet in the grass. Like, being meditation, mindfulness. Next up is huge for me is routine. I have a routine, I have lists, I have it all. When I know what I'm expecting throughout the day, it's just such a huge mental release, honestly. I'm like, well, no, I don't have to worry about what we're eating for dinner tonight because I've planned it.
Well, and that's the whole visualization piece, because you do that also, like, not within like your home life, but like your calendar. You have the lists and then you have the calendar and you're like able, so all of that was up here swirling around. What am I going to have to do? When is this? It's literally on your list. When is that, appointment that I made. You just go and visualize. It's right in front of you. It takes it out of your brain and it puts it in front of you so that you don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple step that I think is so often missed because we're so overwhelmed or we're like in our phones all the time. So it's just like we push it to the back. But I have so many notes apps.
Yes.
It's like Martina's family meals, Martina's grocery lists, the Moxicated notes between the two of us. There's probably like 100.
Yeah.
But it's taking it out of your brain and putting it somewhere where you can see it.
Yeah. I have a notepad that's a Monday through Sunday, and I try every Sunday to write down it all, because if not, we have so many different things between the kids, between Chris's work, between my work, between Moxicated, between all of it. There's absolutely no way I could keep it all up here.
In your head.
Like, absolutely no way.
Well, and this is another part too, that it's like, just because that's how Allie and I do it doesn't mean that that's what's going to work for you. But you are going to have to find a way, like whether it's journaling, whether it's list making, whether you have a planner, whether you use your notes app, you are going to be able to find your own way in this journey to put something out of your head, to visualize it on a piece of paper, on a screen, wherever it needs to be.
Yes. Next, self-compassion. Just give yourself some compassion. Seriously. It is so much. Even talking about the mental load is exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then having to execute
meditate
it
after this.
Yeah. And then lastly, limit the multitasking, which can be so hard for both of us because we start doing something and then we're like, squirrel. And then we start doing that. And I think too, that also aligns a lot in motherhood. Like, you'll be doing something and then you'll hear the laundry ding and you're like, I got to change the laundry. So you'll stop what you're doing, go and do that, and then you're like, the microwave just went off.
Yep.
So then, and so then...
Or a kid needs you, there's a dirty diaper, there's a crash upstairs.
All of it. And so it's sometimes reducing multitasking will just reduce the mental clutter and will improve your focus too.
And I think multitasking, a good way to do that is block scheduling.
Yes.
And so like if you wear all of these hats, like as best as you can, trying to schedule in anywhere from 10 minutes to like 1 hour of like that specific task, and dedicating yourself to that task within that time frame that you gave yourself is a good way to not multitask or to like lighten the multitasking load.
Yes. And then the last one on my list is talk to somebody that can help support you. For me, talk to your partner. Like for Chris, like I said at the beginning, I'll just word vomit and that helps me. Yeah. And then two, in that word vomiting, he is like picking up cues like, okay, I can help with this. I can help with that. I didn't realize you had all of that inside your brain.
Yeah.
And it is kind of, it's very cute and very awesome. But my lists are always just out on the counter. Like, I don't put them away because for me, out of sight, out of mind, I get on autopilot. And so my notebook,
you need to see them.
I write the day on the top, and I'm like, this is what needs to get done in the day. Or we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of things, and then I forget that I have to work. But so I've come home before.
Responsibilities.
And he's like, and he has seen my list, and he's like, hey, I took care of that off the list, or different things like that when he can help, which there are seasons of his work where there's absolutely no way for him to take on any of my mental load. Right. But when we are in the season of his work being slower, he's very helpful, and I forget sometimes. And I'm like, thanks, you do more than I thought. I don't do everything, even though it feels like that way sometimes.
You are a great juggler.
Yes.
We're the same.
Yes.
Because really for my own, I agree with you. I think the first step, which this doesn't even have on it, like it goes straight to visualization, but I honestly think that you need to, when you are feeling overwhelmed by your mental load, you need to ground. You have to ground. Like, you're not going to be able to write the lists down if you're like, what list? Your head's still spinning in a circle. You're like, short-circuiting. Grounding or meditation, and like simple as going for a walk, going outside, something. And I don't know if this is a therapy technique or who told me this at this point. I'm just a wealth of knowledge and don't know where it came from.
You are.
Like going outside and you do the senses, like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch. 2 things, blah, 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 blah. That helps so so well. And I do that with my kids. Like, what do you hear? What do you hear? And all of a sudden they're kind of back in their body, back in the present. And so I really think grounding meditation, even if it's something you do in the moment or something that you do weekly, or building it into your schedule so that you know, like, that's where I go and I'm quiet and I sit and I just be with myself. And then some sort of release. And I think the release can come in form of, okay, listing it out or talking about it to somebody, or like getting it out of your brain and downloading it somewhere else.
Yes.
Consistent support in the form of talking to someone who's safe. And to me, like, this isn't like the download. I think, you talking to Chris is more of a download. And in this, I mean more of like your friends that are going through the same thing.
Yes. Being able to relate.
Because, you know, sometimes we think our partners aren't doing as much as they are, or they aren't doing as much as they should be. And being able to have like a community feeling and like, gosh, I feel like I'm carrying all this by myself, and I do too. And then like just being able to have that, you know, camaraderie and companionship alleviates a lot of the weight. Yes. Like, I'm not alone in this. Not expecting perfection, which is, I think, something that you said too, because we're not professional jugglers. So it is absolutely outrageous for us to think that we are going to be perfect at all of these jobs. I would say if there is any species in the entire world that could be absolute perfection at 5 jobs at once, it is a woman.
I was trying to think what species you were going to say.
Quote me. But we can't, you know, we can't be the most perfect mom, the most perfect wife, the most perfect businesswoman, the most perfect sister, daughter, friend, peer, whatever we are in our lives. We can't be perfect at all of them. No. And so you're going to have to give yourself grace when the ball drops. You have to.
Yes.
And accept it as part of your humanity. Build that into your mental load. Like, at some point, one of these balls is going to drop, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ground, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
I'm going to show myself some compassion.
Exactly. And then that moves into my last one, which is like laughing at the mistakes. And also thanking like whatever greater source you believe in for that mistake, because I tend to believe that not like the everything happens for a reason sort of thing, but like if there's a misstep in your day, or a misstep in your plan, or a misstep in what you thought was going to happen, like there's something to learn from it. There's something that you were being protected from. There's something there. So like laughing about the failure, laughing about the misstep, and then thanking, you know, for the divine intervention, and like, thank you for showing me there's another way, or thank you for showing me I was carrying too many balls at once.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you have to appreciate the moment, and you're not gonna get there without like grounding yourself and getting out of that space of all the things you're gonna do. You're not perfect, but you are wonderful.
Yes, you are.
What is she saying, Freaky Friday? And you do not need a man to complete you.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Wonder if Jamie Lee Curtis would ever be on our podcast.
Manifest that right now. Hey, Jamie Lee.
If there's anyone in the LA area or any other areas that she might be from, let us know. Reach out to her. 2 girls. Signed JNA. Anywho, my loves, the mental load's tough, but don't make it tougher. Give yourself grace. Give yourself opportunities that come in your life to reduce the mental load. Work through it. Don't be scared of it.
Yes.
Because you're not alone. And we love you, babes.
Talk soon.